No.
Hi.
Hi. Did we get a hi?
That was me.
It's still not broadcasting, actually.
It says
Refresh your
live.
page.
Remember, there's a time
How many people?
Should someone
text Andy?
I'm emailing him right
Okay,
now.
perfect.
Man, I'm getting a lot of comments now.
Somebody, okay, Jill's commenting.
You should be able to now chat with us on the Q&A app on the side.
They have to.
They can't.
Q&A. Right, they have to enable Q&A.
No, we are able.
Hi, Jill.
Yeah, because we can see her popping up now.
Okay, yeah, we're back, guys.
Well, on the page.
There's Q&A. Jill, try to ask a question through the Q&A app.
Yes.
Where's Sahila? You're on. Try to ask a question.
Can you say we have 0 viewers? They're here, but they're not viewers yet.
Who else is
to.
on? Maybe. Oh, there's different people.
Yeah. Wait, is this the old one though? This is
No, this is the new one. Don't exit.
No, I'm not. This behind it. Oh, that's
I
part
would,
two.
I would just leave that.
Oh, yep. Okay, we're good.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Jolie.
Hey, we have people here.
We do. Can you comment and tell them to submit the questions for the Q&A?
I'm gonna go join for my computer.
So.
Yeah, Nat, just
Yeah, I just tried.
There's Katie,
I
guys.
can't find the comment section on this.
What did Jill's name?
She said she doesn't see the Q&A app.
Well, tell them to just keep submitting questions like that. That's fine.
Yeah, if you want, just submit your questions through the comments. You don't have to do it through the Q&A app.
And move that one to the side, can you? So we can use the These are all people who are here.
Oh! Yay, someone used the Q&A app. I don't know, but they said we're cute.
Okay, so I think while we get questions, let's just get started talking about in general, how you in grad school, how did we get into it?
Oh, Sahili said we're cute. Doesn't touch it.
That's fine, we can get started, people can join in.
So you could access the Q&A app. How?
I clicked, so if anybody wants to access the Q&A app, just go on the window where you're seeing the video. There's gonna be that like 3x3 square that has the 9 little squares in it, the Google thing. You click on it and it's gonna have an option that says Q&A. You hit on it and then it's gonna pop up the appropriate little box to type your question in, and then we can get it here. That's it. I'm gonna put the new link on my face.
Or if for some reason you can't use the Q&A app, you can ask us questions through the comments section.
Oh, it's really delayed.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna have to wait. But they can also see this.
So I think we should, I don't know, get started talking.
I can't testing for my lab. Yes, you are all.
So he can see the Q&A too. If
Yes.
Or maybe he heard me say it. He probably heard me say it.
Oh yeah, we got another.
Hi, Natalie.
Oh god.
Hi, Natalie.
Oh.
It's not right then. Okay, yes, Q&A app should work. It should be on the left side of your Google Hangout screen.
It's on the right.
The right side? The right side.
I just posted the comment. Oh, thanks, Heather. Do you guys wanna, could you make instructions for the Q&A?
You posted a
Oh,
comment
yeah.
on the old one?
Done.
Google is not very intuitive.
He's tough.
Just go to the meeting.
Nah, Jill got it. So Haley, did you post the link on your Facebook?
I put it on my Facebook, I put it on the Beamlab Twitter. Let me retweet it from my Twitter. And let me put it on the.
Top from IMM here. What's it?
That was a huge delay.
Yeah, that was like 6 minutes ago. I'm gonna retweet it.
Was it?
I think the comments are pretty instantaneous, so they should just
Yes.
do comments and Q&A. And then the answers though, I guess will be delayed, unless we answer it in the Q&A box. So
And I wonder if it's when you log on, and that's why it's so delayed. So what's it like to be in grad school and set up meetings?
We're really good at it. Is there any way we can make that screen bigger?
Which one?
The one with the comments and us, like zoomed in?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, not the other one.
Oh.
Q&A comments, sorry. So we can see them.
This side here.
Well, just the whole screen.
I mean, I can make it full screen, but we won't be able to see.
Or
Just
just that
stretch it,
one then,
stretch
trying to see if you can do that. If there are any, just scroll down on this one, so we can just see if any come up.
Alright.
I still can't really see the Q&A.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's super tiny.
Haley, why do you have so much fake data?
oh, yeah, you can see my head.
Oh.
test you away.
Yes, we got
To minimize the delay.
I just want to see how long it was.
That's a lot better.
Okay.
So you can
Do
always.
we want to go and start talking about ourselves?
I don't know if anybody's joined that's
We
not
should-
from this school.
Oh, really?
We should wait for people that we don't know.
Oh,
I know
part of school.
everybody
That
is.
part of school. How about that?
So Haley and I posted the meeting on our Facebook. If you guys wanna go on there, copy it, and post it on your Facebook too.
Thing is that Andy emailed it out to prospective students to join.
So Angie just typed something.
So should I go run to go talk to Andy and see if he'll send it out again?
Why does it say the hangout starts at 1? But no, it's now. 1 Eastern probably is what it is.
Wait, and what do you state, which time zone?
There's 6.
Doesn't say the time zone.
And
I'm
the-
just assuming it's Eastern.
Okay, I mean, I'm just, yeah, so if 1 o'clock there is 12 o'clock.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Okay.
It was like 5.
I was confused about that when I tried it. This is a good intelligence test for people trying to join a program.
See how smart you are to figure out where you are.
Exactly. Can you follow the
But
rest?
since it is being recorded and anyone that joins can start at the beginning and watch it through, I mean, we could fill this time with actually useful information.
Did anybody? You
All right.
tell them about the neuro.
Let's talk about the neuro program. Monica, you go first. What's your job?
Yeah.
What's your
Give me
job?
a job.
Oh, we like to read it one.
How about,
let's
introduce ourselves then first.
Yeah.
Let's just start with that.
What's your favorite food? Ideal date?
Fruits.
Okay. You guys ready to actually get this started?
Let's get this started.
Okay, so welcome to our neuro program virtual open house, where you are trying to figure out how to get this rolling, so bear with us, but we're first gonna introduce ourselves. So
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm in the DASH lab. I study traumatic brain injury and learning and memory deficits after.
Hi, I'm John. I study timing and mostly computational lab. I do stick wire and beats like that sometimes.
I'm JJ. I'm a first year, currently rotating in the DASH lab, also studying traumatic brain injury and its effects on the neurons.
And I'm Heather. I'm in Michael Gauco's lab, MD Anderson, and we study nociception using fruit flies.
Hi, I'm Sahili. I'm a member of the Bean Lab, and we have an interest in the trafficking of membrane proteins. My particular project is dealing with the trafficking of a protein that's involved in Alzheimer's disease.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a first year student, but right now I'm rotating in Dr. DeGoy's lab. So we look at visual neuroscience and I use optogenetics to kind of figure out how circuits burn could be one.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm in Dr. Walter's lab and I study spinal cord injury and chronic pain.
Hi, I'm Kimia. I'm a second year in the Bean Lab as well. As Haley mentioned, we look at the trafficking of membrane proteins. I particularly look at the trafficking of opiate receptors and the role they play in morphine tolerance.
And last but not least, I'm Monica. I'm also a member of the Bean Lab, and like they've said, we study membrane trafficking. I focus on a protein that's involved in glioblastoma. So, aside from that, please post any questions as they arise, and we will answer them as best as we can. A little bit about our program. Who wants to?
I can get started on that. So our program, I think, if you've been bearing with us for the last couple of minutes, kind of, I think you've seen a little bit of us, just how we are in real life, which is silly and friends and just kind of very casual with each other.
And you're frustrated.
But we stick together and we figure things out, and this, it's working now, so it's all good. I think that one of the things that attracted me personally to this program was, I think grad school is a very awesome, but also a very intense time where your critical thinking skills are pushed to their limits, and you have to learn to think really hard about things and think outside the box in ways that you hadn't done before. And for that, I think having a strong community around you is crucial. You need to have people around you to lift you up when your experiments fail, when you're struggling with something. And I think that our program really has that. We are all friends with each other, we like each other, we take care of each other, and but then at the same time, we're very diverse and everybody has very different interests, and I guess that kind of feeds into when we get together and how we approach problems.
So we have a question in from Johnny. He says, hi guys, thanks for taking the time and speaking with us. Does any of your project work on cancer biology? If so, what project are you developing? Sorry, I'm a bit late. You're not late at all.
You're actually perfect.
You're perfect. So
The Bean Lab actually does a little bit of cancer biology. We study it in a way of studying membrane protein trafficking, so how proteins are internalized from the surface of the cell and go through the endocytic pathway. It's a little bit of cancer biology because there's mutations in these proteins that render them specific for cancer. So, for example, the EGFRB3 mutation in glioblastoma is thought to be recycled more. So while it still goes through the endocytic pathway, it actually is constantly recycling back to the cell surface. So yes, we do. There are also other labs that do cancer biology because the GSBS is kind of this umbrella program type school. You can really pick any lab. So because we're associated with MD Anderson, MD Anderson has a lot of cancer biology labs that you can join and still be part of the neuroscience program. So I don't know if anybody else has.
Yeah, so GSBS is a really cohesive environment. So if you find a lab that you like specifically what they're doing and you kind of want to gear whatever mechanism or whatever techniques they do to cancer biology, you can join that lab, and there's a ton of collaboration that goes on between PIs, and those are collaborations that you can form as a student. So I think it's a really awesome environment, and there are tons of faculty members here that do all types of things and that are extremely open to collaborating and meeting your needs as a student.
I guess that leads into other questions too, the other types of research labs that we do here. So the neuroscience program has a lot of cognitive labs, a lot of systems labs, a lot of cellular and molecular labs, a lot of computational labs. So it really depends on your interest, what you want to do.
Thanks for the question.
Yes, we got one question.
Yes. Feel free to ask any more questions about the neuro program or the graduate school as a whole, or Houston, or
Do you guys just want?
Is there like common questions maybe? If you've been reading them?
I was gonna add on the cancer biology aspect of it that I remember one time hearing Heather's PI talk, Dr. Galco, about what actually means to be what it means to be a cancer biologist. And actually, I think that a lot of the like a lot of people are doing stuff that is related and pertinent to cancer, even if it's not maybe directly working on a specific cancer. And so I think that's something that you're gonna realize once you're in grad school is that you might have a specific interest, but you'll be surprised as to how those interests are not like things are not as clear cut in science as you would think. Cancer biology feeds into neuroscience, feeds into other stuff as well. And I think that you're gonna learn to stretch your mind even beyond the things that you thought originally drove you to apply. And so I just wanted to kind of like throw that out there that
So another thing about GSBS is if, for example, you have interests in multiple areas of studies, like Monica mentioned, it's an umbrella program, so you don't have to affiliate with one of our 13 programs until the end of your first year. So for example, if you're interested in cancer biology, immunology, and neuroscience, you can do your 3 rotations in 3 labs that are in completely different programs and do completely different things. So you have no limitations as to what you can do, the different labs you can experiment with, and so you can really find your niche and what suits you.
Also, the deadline for applying to the program is January 1st, 2016. 4th, sorry.
You're not
I didn't say
You're
that.
not in the field of view.
So,
you have a mystery voice.
Please feel free to submit your application before then, because and the sooner the better, because it's rolling admissions. So get your application in.
Maybe.
We should get that to sit.
January 4th?
4th.
January 4th,
And
2016.
for the master's program, it's April 1st.
Master's program, April 1st. So you still have time to apply.
Awesome.
Also, our program, the neuroscience program has 4 tracks that you can choose from. So it's the cellular and molecular track, the vision track, the systems and cognitive track, and the computational track. I think those are the 4 tracks. So depending on which track you actually choose, you either have extra coursework or not, and it just depends on what you really want to do. What else can we tell them?
But I would say also there's flexibility in that because say you're in a particular track, but your track kind of feeds into something else, and say you're interested in something that our school specifically doesn't have a course for. The good thing about being here in the Med Center is that you can actually take classes not only here at UT, you can take classes at Baylor, you can take classes at Rice, you can take classes at U of H. And so there's people in the neuro program that have done that and have benefited from the kind of environment that there is here in Houston at the Med Center. And I think that that's something that's very unique about this place that very few places in the States have the just the intercommunication between different institutions that share a space or location.
I'll add on to that, I think interinstitutionality is kind of a hard word to say, is actually is really unique here. This is the Texas Medical Center, which has 160,000 people coming to it every day.
It's the biggest medical
center
center
in the world. That's not, that is entirely accurate, and you can tell once you get down here. It's like a mini city. We have Baylor, we have Rice, we have UTH, MD Anderson, Herman Memorial. I'm sure there are
Methodist, Texas A&M, St. Luke's.
Yeah, so if there's an institution that's in Texas at all, it's in the medical center, and it's less than 10 minutes away by bike or by walking. It's really neat to be able to go from one institution to the other. I have collaborations at Rice and Baylor. I know people have collaborations with other institutions, and it's really easy to set up. So I think that's something very unique here. If you're interested in doing medical research at all, if you're interested in working with doctors, that's something that's really useful here, or physicians, because we're going to be doctors, right? If you're interested in working with physicians in order to do human research, this is one of the best places in the entire world to do that. So.
I'm gonna have Tara talk to you guys a little bit about other opportunities that the neuroscience and GSBS offers as a whole, such as different internships that you can do. Making everybody talk.
So one great thing about GSBS too is that they offer many opportunities for career development, and not only careers in academia, but all the other careers that PhDs can put their skills towards and be great in those careers as well. So there are a couple of internships with companies in the area for biotech companies, and then more like biotech management companies that we offer internships with as well that are affiliated with the school, which are really great opportunities to not only expand your skills, but also just be able to experience other careers and how other careers may work that are different from academia.
We got a question.
So Johnny asked, he said that he's an international student and, oh my gosh, I lost it. Where'd it go? He took the TOEFL TOEFL. He's been living in Boston for 1.5 years, and he took a class at Harvard and got a good grade, and he's asking about applying as an international student.
So as an international student, the same admissions policies as to the students in the US, the same policies apply. You're in the US, so you should probably be available if you're selected for an interview to fly down to GSBS and go through the same interview process as the other students. But international students that aren't available for a visit down to Houston, they can be interviewed over Skype. So you would be interviewed by one of our deans.
It's like switching.
Yeah, they're changing, they're like moving down.
What is this +2?
That means you like that comment. It's like, or the star on Twitter.
And just to add to Natalie's answer on that, while I think it's not the case for the students that are currently in here, there are students in our institution that are international and I'm sure would be available to answer more specific questions that they might have. So feel free to reach out to us and we can maybe put you in contact with someone that can give you more detailed information about specifics if that's what you need.
You can find all of our contact information on our website, neurograd.org. Maybe somebody wants to post that. And feel free to contact any of us if you have questions.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Heather.
Heather.
Is there anything else you guys want to add?
Max, why don't you talk about how close-knit we are in the neuro retreat and everything else that A neuro retreat, go for that.
Just every year we go down to Galveston, the San Luis Resort, and so we'll meet for 2 days and we'll talk about some science, have some fun with science. Poster presentations, student presentations, all the first years of the year come and join us and get a feel for how the neuroscience group can relax when we're not freaking out in the labs. And we just hang out, have a good time, and get up the next morning and present a few more presentations, and then that's it. But it's a really nice chance for us to get out and relax and just kind of be ourselves. And it's probably been one of my favorite experiences
So we have
here so far.
Actually have some things to add on for the international students. Okay, so I'm gonna read off some statistics here. So for international students that are applying, if you have a degree from a university where their main language of instruction is English, then you may have your TOEFL exam requirement waived. Applicants are expected to score at least 95 on the internet-based TOEFL exam, but for students that were offered admission in 2015 to the PhD program, the average TOEFL was 109.
So we have a question from the Montague Cobb Lab. They said, what is the rotation scheme like when choosing a lab?
Why don't we have the first years answer?
Yeah.
Because they're doing that.
So the way they've kind of got it set up now is we've got this core course that takes up about half a day. It's really good because it's very general biology, and then that's all first semester, and so is our first rotation. So I've been with the Dash Lab since the beginning of September. And the cool thing about that is we started in mid-August, end of August. So we had about 20 days to kind of like figure out where we wanted to go, line up our rotation, so we didn't have to stress about that coming in day one. And then next semester we have about, let's say, 2.5 months for 2 rotations. So we have a total of 3 rotations.
So I think what's nice about the rotations too, especially because like this semester we have core course and just 1 rotation. Next semester we have our second and our third. So we have this entire semester to kind of get used to the faculty, figure out what their current projects are, to try to make form some rapport with some people and figure out where you want to go next semester. I really like this setup personally.
Yeah, and the great thing about that is that you don't need to know exactly what lab or what you want to do when you get here. And by allowing 3 different rotations in different labs, you can experience the different techniques in different fields and try to get a feel for what you want to do and which lab you want to stay in and do dissertation research.
If you need to, you can do 4 rotations. If you feel like you don't need to do 3 and you've made a decision, you can also just do 2. If you have a master's degree, you can apply to have your 3rd waived, and you'll stay on your 2nd or 1st option.
Is there another question?
So,
You keep switching.
yeah. Johnny wants to know if you can repeat the acceptance for 2015, the TOEFL.
Oh, the acceptance rate?
Oh, the acceptance, so the average acceptance TOEFL score was 109 in 2015.
But someone else commented on here that if you take 2 years of classes in the US, that it can be waived.
Okay.
Did they know that?
But you can always reach out to anyone here at the GSBS and they will point you in the right direction of who you can ask to get those questions answered. Okay. So I talked about rotations. Alright.
What's going on with those questions that keep popping in?
They're in no particular order.
I can.
But is there any, we can answer any of them.
We answered all of them.
Oh, never mind.
Did we talk about GREs?
Go ahead, talk about
All
your.
right, so I'm just reading off the 2015 acceptance admission. So the average GPA for students that were offered admission in 2015 was 3.59. And you have to convert your GPA to a 4.0 scale. Students that were offered admission in 2015, average GRE scores were in the analytical section of 4.2, quantitative 161, and verbal was 157. And the percentiles for those were 62 for analytical, 77 for quantitative, and 74 for verbal. I know that changes. Oh, it changed? What?
No,
Since they.
Oh, yes. And GRE scores are valid for 5 years, so if you've taken it in the last 5 years, you don't have to retake it.
So who would be a good contact for Johnny? Who could he contact at GSBS that would be able to answer?
It would be Andrew Bean.
And his email is a.bean, B-E-A-N, @uth.tmc.edu.
I'm gonna put it in
They're
the,
putting
like, below
it.
the question so that people can.
Together to
And we'll make up a document at the end of this that has all the information.
You should be able to watch this after the fact.
Right, but do you want to watch this for an hour and a half?
We'll just give them that website.
I mean, for us, yes.
I'm just kidding, yeah.
I'm just that impressed.
Yeah.
You're gonna rewatch this.
Anything about, so as GSBS students, we are paid a stipend. Currently, the stipend is $29,000 per year, and that includes they cover our tuition, fees, and health insurance, a big portion of our health insurance, so it's great. In Houston, that is a really affordable salary to live on. Houston is a really affordable city. Anyone?
Agree. It's a
Yes,
competitive
very
stipend,
agreed.
yeah, and Houston's a very affordable city. compared to
They're a
everyone.
good city.
We hope you
I
apply,
would-
Johnny. Thanks for your questions.
Yeah.
To give an example, I have 2 roommates and live 2 miles from where I work and 2 miles from downtown. I pay about $500 a month, or $500 a month for rent. So that's a good deal, but you can find those type of things for all around.
Yeah, and I think about half of us in this room at some point or do now bike here to work. And so there are very many places that are affordable around here and close that you can live at.
There are shuttle buses from multiple institutions that we are able to hop on and ride to work. And the area around here is pretty safe. I feel pretty safe because I see, security people patrolling all the time. That's important to feel safe. Mostly because of you.
Oh.
So for those of you who are just joining, you can use the Q&A app to submit any of your questions and we can answer them for you. 12 years.
We're popular for internet thing.
Oh my God.
Chris Evans from Micro texted me a picture of us. He said, "Look, you guys are famous."
I think.
So I was going to comment on biking for a second, and also just getting around. Houston's in the midst of kind of transforming to more of a walking city. It's not quite there yet, if we're completely honest. But I currently live without a car and do pretty well. I supplement that with occasional Uber rides and things like that. But it's possible to live without a car depending on where you live. And but it may be a little uncomfortable.
So Nicholas asked us if any of us are from different parts of the country, and if so, how the adjustment was to Houston. So anybody who's not from Houston want to talk
I can say
about?
something. If you're from Puerto Rico, just wear a jacket. You're gonna get over the cold.
It's not cold.
Oh my God,
It's not cold.
Shorts and flip-flops.
I'm in a sleeveless shirt right now.
Oh my God.
You're in a
I'm always
cold.
cold. I'm always
So I think,
So I'm from Washington, D.C., and I went to school in Pittsburgh, which is a much smaller city, and I love it down here. I think you get a good mix of like a suburban feel because everything is kind of big and spread out. You get the urban feel because obviously it's a huge city. It's like what, the 4th largest city in the U.S.
Sure.
And I mean, you're 45 minutes away from the beach. You're 5 hours from New Orleans, 3 hours from Dallas, 2 hours from Austin. So there's a ton of stuff around here. And if you're
cheap flights to go
yeah,
places from.
yeah, it's very affordable compared to the Northeast. It's very affordable. So I really like it down here.
I think I would add to that it's also, I think it's right now the most diverse city in the United States, which surprised me because you always think of like diverse, oh yeah, you have to be in like New York City for that. But actually, Houston has, it's the most diverse city. And not only that, that also translates into it has amazing food of all kinds.
Amazing
It's not
food.
New York prices, it's like great prices for authentic food. So that's one of my favorite things to do is just go out to eat all kinds of crazy food that I couldn't eat in other places. So it's pretty great.
And anybody else?
Yeah,
Heather, you're from California, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Northern California. I was a little hesitant to move to the heart of Texas, but yeah, it's been great. I think the medical center is like this bubble of this amazing diversity and vastly intelligent people that are all trying to do really good science, and so it's great. And everyone that I've met in Houston is really nice, laid back, just really good people here. So I've had no problems with living in Houston, and it's very bikeable. It's very flat, so nice run, it's bike.
Good running.
Those are really helpful, and it's a very pretty city. There's a lot of bayous and parks that you can, if you like to exercise, go visit those, and they're all over. So that's really nice.
So I just want to point out that Nicholas is also from DC, so I got you. You'll love it here. And you don't have to deal with snow or the cold or the miserable winters. It's beautiful all year round.
The
Unless
summer-
you're
It gets hot. It gets hot,
Yeah.
but it
Unless
doesn't
you're
get cold.
Sahili who thinks it's like.
Who wears a
I'm
parka when
totally
it's
fine with the summer. I'd just rather it be
Yeah.
summer. But hey, I
but-
mean, it's November, and I think today is the first day that I've like worn this jacket.
And it's like 70.
It's like
Jacket, weather.
Okay, so we have a few more questions. So Matt Maxwell asked that if being published as an undergraduate is beneficial in the admissions process, and if so, how beneficial?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
So in the admissions process, your research experience is actually weighed very heavily, and that can even mask if you have poor grades or your GPA is low or anything. We really value previous research experience here, and publications are always a plus. But yeah, I mean, if you have previous publications, then they will definitely be weighed pretty heavily in your application.
Yeah, I would say that's the most important thing is research experience.
Yeah.
Publications are great, but research experience is definitely the top.
In your interviews, they'll actually ask you about your research experience. Like, what did you learn? What were you interested in? So definitely be prepared to talk about it in your interviews if you do have some. But yeah, they love that.
So to answer your question, being published is very helpful, but not necessary. If you're not published as an undergrad, I would not worry. As long as you have research experience, I think you're a viable candidate.
I would also add to that real quick that during your interviews, one thing that somebody told me and I think it helped was bring, for example, say if you presented a poster, or if you have like a figure that you've contributed for something, just some sort of visual thing to help you like explain your research. I think what they're really looking for is people that understand science, understand like say the research question that I've worked on in the past beyond being good technically. I think the idea is to see that you're able to think critically, that you know what question your research is trying to answer, and sometimes having like a little visual aid helps. So this is just my 2 cents.
So next question, you want to read it, Matt?
How many hours a week do you usually spend on schoolwork, studying, etc.?
That's a loaded question.
Oh, man.
That's a loaded question. I think it totally changes based on what
Based on
stage.
year.
Yeah. So the first year is very heavy.
Did you talk about me first year?
So first year is kind of more class focused, and you're kind of testing the water when it comes to your labs. That's what the point of like your rotations are. And the way the core course kind of works out is we're set up because there's about the whole entire class of GSBS first years has to take it. So there's about 50 of us who take this class. So there's a lot of collaboration with other students. So kind of the workload isn't as heavy, but it starts to grow throughout the entire semester.
I think there's also something to be said about core course. So like we have it for 2.5 hours every day, every morning, 5 days a week, but we also have to meet with there's a lot of group work. So you have to find time outside of lab to meet with your group to make sure your presentations look good. And then as far as lab work goes, I think that really depends where you're rotating and then what lab you end up in afterwards.
But at any stage, you will always be in a lab. There will never just be sheer coursework. Even in your first year, it's half a day of courses, half a day of lab. So you'll always be spending some time in lab.
And then I guess sorry, go John.
I mean, I was going to say that in general, there are different labs have different expectations for how much time you actually spend in the lab, but a lot of it is self-motivated. The environment after grad school is very, very competitive if you wish to stay in academia, to say the least. But what you do in grad school sort of determines the level at which you will do what you'll do afterwards. And so there's a lot of internal pressure to be as productive and do as much as possible, because if you don't, you probably not going to make the cut to go up higher. So it's very internally focused.
Yeah, so your first year will be mostly coursework and your lab rotation. So then you'll join a lab, and in your second year there will be a little bit more coursework, not as much as in the first year, but you will focus more towards your research in the lab you joined. At the end of your second year, you then have the candidacy exam. So we have a Sakili is now going through the candidacy exam right now. So what it is you have 6 weeks to write a proposal that is similar to an F31 fellowship from the NIH. It's an NRSA fellowship, and so
it's a trainee grant.
You're applying to the government for a grant. You're asking the government for money. That's what
Right, and
No,
it's
it's just
no,
saying
it's
that
important.
some of
I did
these.
not know this, but before I applied, it's
Yeah.
important to mention it. Yeah, it's money to cover for your stipend, and while a lot of labs will have money to cover for your cover your stipend anyway, in case you don't have an independent funding, it's just seen as something favorable for you to have. The fact that your science is so good that it's competitive to win a national award, so you aspire to that.
But that is separate from the
Right.
candidacy
No,
exam.
I-
We're talking about the
I-
candidacy exam.
I was just saying that,
Yeah.
oh,
The
you apply for
analogy.
grant, what is a
Well,
grant?
so
for
it's
undergrad
just about a
student?
6-page proposal of your hypothesis and experimental aims, and
There
then, so you do that for 6 weeks, and then 2 weeks later, you have an oral exam in front of 5 faculty members, where you present your proposal, and then they will, you have a discussion, they ask you questions about your research design, and they kind of test your critical thinking abilities during that oral exam. His face is like,
Yeah. It's just, so today, just to give you an example, like I'm doing my candidacy right now, and today is my practice talk, meaning I'm going to do a mock of my, like a defense of the proposal that I've written. But because this is legitimately how we roll in this program, but like these guys are great, and the way that it works is that I usually, like, students will do a mock exam in front of their peers, and their peers will kind of tear their proposal apart and help them figure out what's missing, where there's a hole. And I think the opinion of many students so far has been, the students sometimes are like as critical as the professors that are eventually going to examine them.
more so.
Or more.
She's
So
a
I'm a
little
little bit
scared.
afraid because it's in like 2 hours, but it's gonna be fine. But it's actually great.
I'm just gonna interject here and say that if you have no idea what a proposal is or how you're supposed to write one, don't worry about that yet.
That's okay.
Because
Yeah.
the classes that you take in your first year and second year, they are designed to help you think and think critically, and they teach you how to write a proposal and how to analyze data, and everything you'll need to know you'll learn in your first and second year, so don't worry about that.
But I had a very similar question when I was applying for graduate school. I was like, what is your day-to-day life? And someone was like, it depends on the day. And I was like, that's a stupid answer. But it's a very accurate answer. Graduate school is very self-paced. It's on you to, break up your time, manage your time. How much time are you going to devote to studying? How much time are you going to put in lab, classes? So other than the structured first couple of years, it's very self-paced.
Yeah.
And I would say that most people, we all kind of have a life outside of lab. Like Kimmy's involved in a lot of volunteer work with animal shelters in Houston. Monica has a very active running life. Like everybody.
Running, that's what
Oh,
you do?
Monica runs every day. I'm just saying. She
I
has
do.
time for that. So, everybody, you kind of set your own goals and you determine how it works. I'm a little bit more kind of like up and down in the sense that I'll have times where I'll slack, and then I'll have times where I'm working super hard,
Your
like
boss is
very,
right
very long hours.
Yeah.
He knows. Oh, he knows. No, I think it depends on different people are different, and I would say definitely it's very cyclical. There are times where it's a little bit more relaxed and you're working less hours a week, and then there's times where you're here probably every day, and that's how it's going to be wherever you go to grad school, really.
Jill texted me. and
Yeah,
said
so
that we
after your
froze.
candidacy exam at the end of your second year, you'll then be mostly focused on.
We lost all of yours.
What?
Can people ask,
No.
Yeah, it might just frozen for some people. It's fine.
What did Erin say on
And there's
that?
one.
I told the current students, so if you're interested in any other programs, I told current students who are part of this in the comment section, they're telling you what program they're part of and,
Microbiology and G&D put their information up on
yeah,
that
so you can
site.
contact them as well, and they're putting their insight there too.
It says we only have one viewer.
It's Heather.
It's Heather.
It's like this.
yeah, that's like,
You can push done on that question.
Maybe, did it have like a time limit?
2 hours.
0 viewers.
alright, so
Yeah,
someone
we
comment that
lost
there's additional
No,
technical
I mean-
difficulties.
No, I mean, we can just wait, it might just be that people left.
Well, but we have to go check and make sure.
Heather.
Heather's froze, and we had to text us.
It's not frozen,
not
it's just
frozen.
glitchy. It's probably a
Well, it's
bandwidth
not.
thing.
Yeah, they texted us and said it froze.
Alright.
It's fine. Heather, are you on? You're a one
Yeah.
viewer.
My computer's also on.
No, mine died, right here died.
Can somebody send me the link?
I sent it to you.
It's also on the.
It's on the old page too,
Yeah.
in the comment section, yes.
I think it's we've been trying to.
Wait, we have two
Let's check
viewers,
out.
they're coming back.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Woo-hoo.
Not sure.
After-
You people just got all the questions answered.
Are we connected?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're sure. Aaron texted me too and said we're frozen.
Yeah. Maybe comment,
I just told him to try refreshing your browser. We have 2 viewers.
we have 13 viewers at some point.
Yeah, it's just, people are writing, I had something this morning, people are writing something. Hey, where is it? I can't
I mean, the comment, like, if they click on the old link, it will direct them to,
It will.
in the comments, section. That's how everybody else has gotten onto this.
Does someone want to maybe comment again in the old one?
My computer died, guys.
Yeah, we're,
Maybe you can do it there on this
Come in.
computer. What should I do?
I'm afraid to touch any browsers.
Give me his back.
Okay, yeah, it's working
No.
When I closed it and opened it again, then it.
So do we have
type
any
in the
questions?
comment
though?
section,
Started.
If it's freezing. What did you do, Heather? Just close it and open it again?
Started it over.
Okay.
No,
Let me write that
that
down.
works.
It says there are people watching us.
it said one viewer.
It says right there, viewers watching 9.
Oh, who's Priscilla?
There's more.
Oh, there, AV just logged on.
Chocolate.
No, he was already logged in, so.
Yeah, I just get like a spinning wheel of that.
Oh, it's still not working?
Yeah, I thought it was, but it started over from the beginning. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Be like, not sure. Andy, can you see us?
I can't even get on the internet. So I'm having problems with the tubes.
We have 2 viewers right now.
That's looking at Kimia's head.
Everyone's heads. Whoa, I'm not here. I mean, I'm just a little head here.
You're the closest to the camera, you're the biggest head.
Wait, see what time? Go up to the,
Yeah,
it's back and stop right at 1 o'clock. Yeah, see what time the,
So
air
Aaron,
bath.
was Aaron on there?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Why don't we just start another one? Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Shameless plug for the microbiology.
Oh, John just sent us a
Check us out
comment,
here.
so then it's working. Go back to the view.
Oh, yeah.
Show it, it is working.
Huh.
We're just
Yeah,
not
but that's
getting
the
any.
beginning, zoom
I have to
forward.
smoke some rats.
Just hit the bar, so you can zoom forward to.
We don't have that on here.
It's
We're
just
live.
like-
It's not
yeah,
working.
we're live.
Maybe it ended.
Yeah, it does say it's until 12:42.
It
ended at
12:42.
I thought it was 12 to 2.
But
But
lost the original
technically,
link, so we have to
technically
remake
it
a new one.
shouldn't end until you hang up.
John says our video stream is currently frozen. I think it ended. Can we restart?
Restart it.
How?
There's a new link. Down the line from.
I can't even get a briefing.
Maybe not. Okay, so now, it's now updating the comments over here, so.
What are they saying?
Sorry, I just saw the message.
Let's just start a new one, so it doesn't tape over this one.
All right, can you do it?
Yeah, just X out of this.